Hey, what's happening, guys? What's going on? Good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, February 9th, 2023. We got a lot of news to cover today. I don't know what the weather's like by you guys. It is a dark, gloomy morning here in Illinois. It's about 7:15 in the morning. It looks like it's the middle of the night out. It's like pitch black. Pouring rain, nasty day. Hopefully the rain doesn't affect the sound too much. Got my morning coffee. I stopped doing the Dunkin' Donuts a while ago. Preparing for a downturn, been making my own coffees in the morning, trying to save a little bit of money. And also, the cost of everything continues to go up. The quality of products, the quality of goods, and the quality of service you receive continues going down. And every place you go wants a tip on the POS machine. I've just decided to skip it. I've been making my own coffee and been enjoying it. A lot of times I start off my day, I head to the forest preserve and I either sit by the river, do some meditation, read the news, have my coffee. Nice way to kind of start the morning. Let's get into today's video. A lot of stuff to talk about today. According to CoinDesk, Coinbase's CEO Brian Armstrong is hearing rumors that the SEC wants to ban retail investors from crypto staking. JP Morgan's laying off a bunch of people. Disney doing 7,000 layoffs. Boeing doing layoffs. Zoom doing layoffs. A lot of layoffs to announce. We announced eBay layoffs yesterday. What's kind of troubling is, it's not surprising that a company like Snapchat or Facebook necessarily lays off people. Even though technically eBay is a tech company, eBay is a company that's been around for over 20 years. They make money. They're a profitable company. Dell actually makes things, is actually profitable. A company like Boeing. These layoffs are starting to expand outside of the obvious candidates, outside of the companies like DocuSign or Zoom, who just grew too quickly during the Mexican beer cough period and which just wasn't sustainable. We got a ton of good stuff to talk about in today's video. I actually got a documentary suggestion for you guys today. Actually, last night, right before falling asleep, me and my girlfriend were watching, there's a new Netflix movie. It was like trending on the top 10. I think it was number 6. It's about that girl from, I think, New Zealand or Australia who solo circumnavigated the globe with no stops and no assistance. It basically sailed around the world. Kind of a cute movie. It was kind of like a little bit Disney-ish of a movie, a little bit of a kind of a child's movie, but an interesting story nonetheless. But it reminded me of one of my favorite documentaries of all time. It's a documentary called Chasing Bubbles. There was a kid from either downstate Illinois or Indiana, wound up getting a job on the Chicago Stock Exchange, made a bunch of money, but he was kind of a free spirit, kind of a weirdo, like myself and probably a lot of you guys. He used to sleep at the Mercantile Exchange or the Stock Exchange, wherever he worked. He just wasn't the typical person working in finance. He realized that wasn't the life for him. He quit the job, bought a boat, had never sailed before, set off from Florida, and decided he wanted to sail around the world. Now, he didn't do it nonstop. He had a crew with him. He went on social media, and he was picking up interesting people he met from different countries. I think in the end, he winds up, actually, I won't tell you. But really awesome documentary, one of my favorite documentaries, and it's on YouTube. Also wanted to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's video before we really dive into things. The sponsor of today's video is Refersion. Check out refersion.com. My affiliate link is in the description box below. Refersion is an affiliate marketing management tool. So this actually has two sides. If you are an affiliate marketer yourself, they actually have an affiliate network so that you can search out and join programs in different niches for different companies and for different products, and you can manage them all from one dashboard as opposed to having to sign up for a million different affiliate programs. Kind of like a Commission Junction, CJ.com, kind of like one of those types of sites, kind of like a Share a Sale. Their network is a little bit younger. It's not quite as expansive as, say, a CJ.com, but a lot of the top companies out there, a lot of the best affiliate programs out there are using Refersion. And one of the things I like about Refersion as an affiliate marketer is I have one login and I can access dozens of affiliate programs. So if you are an affiliate marketer, check them out and check out their network. Also, if you are in e-commerce, you're a Shopify store owner, you have a digital product, you want to set up an affiliate program, or you have an affiliate program, I use Refersion to run all of my affiliate programs, and I also manage affiliate programs for a number of different businesses. All use Refersion. If any of you guys need help setting up an affiliate program, growing an affiliate program, or having an affiliate program managed, you can always reach out to me, RulesForRebels@gmail.com. That's something that I do on the side. But check out the link in the description box below. Let's get into the news. A lot of stuff to cover today. We'll briefly start with kind of how the markets finish up yesterday. Dow closed down 207 points. NASDAQ closed down 0.5%, and the S&P 500 closed down 1.1%. Most top cryptocurrencies closed down 2 to 3%. And let's kind of start off with the crypto news. According to our CoinDesk article from yesterday, Coinbase's CEO Brian Armstrong is hearing rumors that the SEC wants to ban retail crypto investors from crypto staking. That means Binance, Coinbase, whatever other platform you use, they will not be able to pay you interest on your cryptocurrencies. Is this really going to protect you, or is this stopping you from earning money? It's kind of weird how the government wants to, quote unquote, protect us in a lot of ways. We have accredited investors laws so that people can't get in on the ground floor of opportunities. This is done in the name of protecting them. Now, obviously, if you make over, I think it's $150,000, $200,000 a year, or if you have over $1 million in net worth, that doesn't apply to you. I guess they figure if you're able to make that much money, or if you have that much money in the bank, it must mean you're not an idiot and you can be personally responsible. But it's kind of weird how the government wants to protect us from crypto staking, wants to protect us from getting in early on investments. Yet at the same time, we have casinos. You're able to buy lottery tickets. You're able to do a lot of stupid things with your money. But when it comes to actually investing and trying to make money, the government wants to protect you. We'll see if that winds up happening. It would be very bad for crypto. I have a feeling a lot of people will go to exchanges like KuCoin and just use a VPN and just kind of bypass the U.S. regulation. Also, there are DeFi platforms you can do this as well, though I would imagine a platform like Trustpilot would probably wind up shutting out U.S. people. JP Morgan is laying off hundreds of mortgage employees. Now, this isn't super surprising. Obviously, real estate is suffering. The media has not wanted to let on how bad the real estate market is and how bad the housing market is. They're finally finally coming to the point where it's kind of unavoidable that they can't not cover it. But again, it's not surprising that mortgage employees are being laid off. Nobody's refinancing and very few people are buying homes. The real estate market right now is kind of at a stalemate. And I think spring, summer, when the market historically ticks up a little bit, that will be the true sign of which direction things are going to head. We hear a lot about how much real estate markets are down. And real estate markets are down quite a bit. But if you look at the grand scheme of things, if you look how much real estate surged during 2020, 2021, 2022, even early 2023, even if we have a 40% pullback, a lot of markets are still going to be up substantially from where they were before the beer cough started. And also in the wintertime, most people aren't moving, especially people with families. They don't want to deal with moving during the school year. People don't like to move in bad weather. So we typically see the real estate market pull back about 5.5%, maybe even up to 7% in certain markets, especially in northern areas of the country. So a pullback is kind of normal this time of year. It'll be interesting if that continues into the spring and summer when activity typically picks up. For months and even the past year or two, we've been hearing about how buy now, pay later is exploding. I think a lot of these companies may have grown too quickly. Buy now, pay later company Affirm lays off 19% of its employees. That's a pretty hefty percentage of their employees, 487 people. Now, if they expected to continue growing, you would think that maybe they wouldn't be doing the layoffs, or maybe the layoffs would be smaller. They obviously expect a pullback, and that kind of stays in line with what we're seeing with a lot of banks and mortgage lenders and credit unions, and credit is getting tighter. Affirm stock was down 17% in after-hours trading, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend buying Affirm, but I kind of talk about one of my strategies this year for investing is watching for companies to get bad news coverage, watching the stocks tank, and if I feel like it's a decent company and there was an overreaction, I may wind up buying into it. We got more layoffs from Disney. Disney's laying off 7,000 people. They're going to be reorganizing into 3 divisions. They're slashing 7,000 jobs, and in after-hours trading, the stock shot up almost 10%. Segments will be Disney Entertainment, will be the first segment, ESPN and Disney Park Experiences, and then Disney Products and Streaming Businesses. Disney Products. Disney's streaming business lost $1.1 billion in the last quarter. Growth has stalled. Disney posted a rare loss of subscribers, dropped 2.49 million subscribers in the first loss ever, and thousands of people at Disney laid off, and the stock price surges. Boeing is also laying off people. Boeing is laying off 2,000 employees, mainly in the finance and HR departments. We talked the other day, Dell laying off 6,500. Dell's a tech company, but they're not a social media company. They're not one of these companies that just had a bump because of the beer cough. So it's kind of worrying that companies like Boeing, Dell, Disney are starting to lay off employees. We talked the other day, Zoom laid off 15% of the workforce, 1,500 employees. That's not really a surprise. People are heading back into the offices. People are doing business travel again. You don't really need a service like Zoom, at least not to the extent that we did 2020 to 2022. We talked about this one. Impossible Foods laid off 20% of the workforce. Bed Bath & Beyond, it's amazing this company hasn't died. We've talked about them in some recent videos. They're closing 150 stores. I saw an article by me the other day. 4 stores near me are closing. 400 stores have closed in the last year. They initially had 950 stores at the height. They've closed 400. I saw Target stock is actually down a little bit lately. But there's a thought out there that a lot of these disappointed Bed Bath & Beyond customers who can no longer buy things at Bed Bath & Beyond may wind up flocking to Target. So maybe Target will see an uptick in people buying home goods type items. They're very different types of stores, but I think Target is one of the most similar one of the most similar kind of like big box stores out there. Let's talk about other layoffs. This year thus far, and I kind of cover this story every day. This year thus far, we've had 326 tech companies lay off employees. The total number of employees laid off has been 98,100 employees affected. And again, you got to keep in mind, we're in early to mid-February. We're only a month and a half into the year. If you look at the past full year, I think tech layoffs are up to about 150,000, and they look to continue into 2023. Gusto laid off 126, Gong 80, Equity B laid off 24. Again, Affirm 19% of the company, Baraja laid off 75% of the company. That's 3/4 of the company. GoDaddy laid off 8%. Again, GoDaddy, a tech company, but not some bloated social media company. Kind of worrying to see GoDaddy laying off 8% of staff. Coho laid off 14% of the staff, and Nearmap laid off 20% of the staff. We had a Breitbart article yesterday, Disney facing a bloodbath as thousands of layoffs and budget cuts loom. The Walt Disney Company went woke, and now it is paying the consequences with employees bracing for a bloodbath. Was this entirely because Disney went woke? No. I mean, Disney was always profitable with their theme parks. Obviously, 2020 to 2022 was a rough time for Disney. I don't think Disney is doing themselves any favors by putting out very political, controversial content, a lot of content that most people don't want to see. They're kind of pandering to a small group of very far left, very woke people. But again, at the end of the day, I think most families, regardless of where their politics lie, are probably going to take their kids to Disney if that's something that they want to do, or if that's something their kids want to do. I think one of Disney's biggest mistakes was leaning away from the profitable areas of their business and leaning into streaming, an area that a lot of companies struggle to make money with. And there's a lot more competition in that space as well. There's rumors that Disney may sell off ESPN. Saw an interesting comment on a Reddit post about this article. Somebody said, this is all because workers gained a little bit of leverage, and this is the megacorps deciding it's better to starve people out to make them compliant. It's not because of that. It's because Disney's streaming service is losing money. Let's see. Signs the economy is not fine. And I think this was Patrick Bet-David had a video yesterday. Signs the economy is not fine. About a 10-minute video. Kind of interesting if you want to check it out. 74% of Americans believe interest rates will go up in the next 6 months. 67% believe, actually, this one's from The Hedge. 74% of Americans believe interest rates will go up in the next 6 months. 67% believe inflation will go higher in the next 6 months. Only 36% of Americans believe the economy will grow in the next 6 months and that the stock market will go up. 29% believe unemployment will go down in the next 6 months. Existing home sales have fallen 11 straight months, and economists and real estate agents still say it's a good time to buy. The 30-year fixed mortgage rate is 6.19%. That's double what it was a year ago. You're paying higher interest on overvalued homes. Buyers and sellers are at a stalemate. Sellers are holding out for high prices. Buyers are holding out for lower prices or lower rates, and many buyers can't qualify for property loans, for mortgages at these rates, at these prices. Some of them have lost their jobs, and we also have banks tightening lending standards. So I thought this was a funny article. It came out that Bill Gates says it's okay for him to own 4 private jets and to use private jets because he's the solution to climate change. It kind of reminds me of during the height of the Mexican beer cough when Lori Lightfoot told people they couldn't go out and get haircuts, but she had to go out and get a haircut because she's popular and important, and she's on television. I don't care what type of haircut you give her, she's still going to look pretty horrible. But yeah, we kind of see this hypocrisy. It reminds me of Al Gore as well. Oh, you should ride your bike to work, but I have 7 mansions that in one day use up more power than your home will in a year. I drive around in fleets of Tahoes and SUVs that guzzle gas. I fly around in private jets, but it's okay because I'm important and I'm part of the solution. Okay, so here's the Patrick Bet-David big economic crisis on the horizon. He says there's going to be an unemployment crisis. He talks about how today's economy is so unique. 128 economic. We're going to skip that. My notes weren't that good, and you guys can check out the video for yourself if you want. So here's kind of an interesting thought. So the 2008 housing crisis was largely caused by investors with decent credit. We heard that. The narrative is that kind of we were giving out loans too easy. A lot of people, bought homes with 110% mortgages. They had no skin in the game, and they wound up walking away. And obviously that was a problem, but the biggest problem was investors, not only big investors and hedge funds and banks, but also, small-time investors who had easy access to money and just started buying multiple homes and becoming realtors, becoming real estate investors and landlords. And we're kind of starting to see the same thing again. Remember all the iBuyers? Remember, Zillow bought up all those homes, paid over asking or over the value, and then couldn't sell them and wound up having to dump them off in blocks of 2,000 homes at a discount. We talked about, I think there was a real estate or a home buying company that recently either did layoffs or went bankrupt. We talked about it in one of the recent videos in the past couple days. Basically what they did, if you wanted to buy a home and you wanted to put a cash offer on a home, because cash offers are more competitive, and in some markets, over 50% of all home sales were cash offers, this company would loan you cash to buy the home. After the fact, you would get a mortgage, and then you would pay them a fee for, allowing you to be a cash buyer. Also, look at the number of, quote-unquote real estate investors on YouTube and TikTok. 19-year-old kids telling you they have $50 million in real estate portfolios. A lot of people say this time is different than 2008, but, a lot of it is reminiscent of 2008. This is kind of a groundbreaking story that came out yesterday. I guess it's still not 100% confirmed, but a lot of us kind of believed this from the beginning. It turns out that it's very possible the Nord Stream sabotage, when that natural gas pipeline was blown up, it was actually the CIA and U.S. Navy that did it. This is according to a Hubstack article by, Pulitzer Prize winning journalist Seymour Hersh. He said many involved in this operation said it was stupid and it's a political nightmare if it comes out. During the planning, the Biden administration was trying to avoid leaks as the planning was taking place. Washington was, okay, so here's the reason that it was done. Washington was worried that as long as Europe was dependent on cheap natural gas from Russia, that they wouldn't help Ukraine. And obviously now, now that gas isn't available, they have a reason to help Ukraine, and they're sending tanks. And I think Germany or some country is even going to send fighter jets and send the military over to train the Ukrainians on how to use these fighter jets. It's kind of funny that we all act like we're not in a war when we're sending over like all this money, all this supplies, training. I'm sure like U.S. Special Forces and CIA are on the ground in Ukraine, but don't worry, we're not at war. Washington worried that as long as Europe was dependent on cheap natural gas, they wouldn't help Ukraine. So we blow up the pipeline, and now we kind of get Europe on our side. And shortly after this, the AP News ran a story saying Russians push a baseless conspiracy theory, blaming the U.S. for the pipe bursting. Well, if we look back at that story, it really made no sense for Russia to do that, right? Why would they cut off their ability to sell natural gas? Also, it just didn't look like Russia were the ones who did it. And Biden had previously said, if Russia does X, Y, Z, we will make sure that pipeline is no longer operational. So it's pretty clear that we did it, and now more and more evidence is continuing to come out. Peter Schiff came out recently and warns that disinflation is transitory. Inflation is going to get much worse. Peter Schiff, yeah, he's a doomer. But if he is right, can you afford to be wrong? Are you preparing for a downturn? Do you have an emergency fund? Do you have multiple streams of income? Are you ready for a downturn? There is some good news. Pepsi beat earnings. Their sales are up 10%, although even on that news, their stock yesterday was down 1%. It's weird. Bad news comes out and a company stock goes up. Good news comes out and a company stock goes down. Credit Suisse reported the biggest annual loss since 2008. Americans are becoming reluctant to make larger purchases. Revolving credit is growing. Savings rates are falling. Higher inflation and higher interest rates are making it tougher for people to pay off debt. And you'll know we're in trouble if we, I guess things could go a couple ways. So typically when people realize that they're screwed and the economy is screwed, oftentimes they'll stop spending on credit cards and try to up their savings rate. So if we see the savings rate start to tick up a little bit, that may be a sign that people are really getting worried and things are really going to get bad. But at the same time, if people are just completely tapped out and literally have no money and they're dependent on credit cards to pay their mortgage, to buy groceries, to pay their utility bills, then maybe we will see credit or savings rates continue to fall even further and credit continue to get even higher, even though that's kind of the opposite of what oftentimes happens. Mattel's stock dropped 10% in after-hours trading after weak holiday sales. Remember how we were told that this was the greatest Black Friday ever? This was the greatest Cyber Monday ever? This was the greatest holiday shopping season of all time? Remember we were being told that, and I called BS on it, and everybody was like, no, it really was great. Turns out it wasn't. Why are all these companies' earnings coming out? Why were all these companies' holiday sales down? And not just brick and mortar, entire sales online. The companies are not profitable. Mattel is reporting fewer orders from retailers, and the CEO cites a challenging economic environment. The sale of Barbies and Hot Wheels were down 22%. So the Netflix password sharing crackdown has begun in 4 countries. I think it was supposed to roll out to the U.S. last week or 2 weeks ago. There was a lot of backlash, so they kind of walked back on that. But the password sharing crackdown, which I guess is going to be you're going to have to log in from your home network at least once a month. And I know a lot of people use Netflix when they travel or on vacation. You'll be able to get like a temporary PIN code for 7 days, but after that, that will expire. So it sounds like it's just going to make it a huge pain in the butt if a bunch of people in different households are sharing a Netflix account. You're constantly going to have to be texting each other to share passwords. The countries that the crackdown begins in is New Zealand, Canada, Portugal, and Spain, and they're going to test it there before launching it in the USA. Let's see, we've talked about tightening lending standards. Banks are upping their reserves. They're preparing for a crash. Tighter lending also doesn't bode well for a soft landing in the second quarter. All the, Chat GPT and AI has been all the rage. I didn't have this story in my notes, but I'll comment on it really quickly. So Google had a code red meeting. They were worried that Bing was going to kind of take over search dominance with Chat GPT. There were rumors, I guess not rumors, it came out that Bing's search engine now uses AI chat. I went on the website. It looks like it uses AI chat, but when I actually ask it a question, it just delivers normal Bing search results. I've heard that it might only be on the mobile app. I didn't really feel like downloading the mobile app, but maybe I will check that out today or tomorrow. But Alibaba's stock rose. Shares rise on news that Alibaba is working on a Chat GPT-like AI bot. Not really sure if that's going to be something that's going to be like marketed to the public or that you can buy or subscribe to like an SaaS service, or if that's something that's going to be able to be utilized by AliExpress sellers who want to have this bot respond to customer inquiries of people who are potentially looking at sourcing products on Alibaba. And I'm guessing it will roll out to AliExpress as well. NBC and MSNBC employees plan a walkout in a protest over layoffs. More than 200 employees are going to be walking out. Oh my gosh, what will we do without their fake news? Do they think that anybody's going to care? They can go all under for all I care. They push propaganda, they push certain narratives, they gaslight you, and they don't tell you the truth, and then they wonder why nobody consumes their media and why they're all being laid off. Stripe is, I saw somebody complaining on an e-commerce forum yesterday. Stripe is upping the credit card chargeback fee. I'm not sure about the US, but in the UK for sure. Apparently it used to be 15 GBP or 15 pounds. It's going to be up to 20 pounds. And apparently from what I'm hearing and how the policy reads, even if you win the chargeback, you're still going to wind up being charged 20 pounds. So if somebody does a frivolous chargeback, you wind up winning, you're still out 20 pounds. And then lastly, I just had a video recommendation. Stoic Finance put out a video yesterday. The 2023 housing market collapse just started. He talks about how Boise, average price of a home in the past couple of years went from $350,000 all the way up to $600,000. I mean, that's just not sustainable. Recently, Sacramento fell from $530,000 for the average home price to $430,000. San Jose cratered $300,000 on the average price of a property, down from $1.5 million to $1.2 million. That's a decline of 20%. The average price of a home in Vegas has gone down from $432,000 down to $375,000. The media is slowly and begrudgingly starting to kind of let on that the housing market isn't looking too good. Remember how for like the past couple months, even though mortgage rates are double what they were a year ago, even though you can only buy about half the home that you could have a year and a half ago, the media was, oh my gosh, mortgage rates have dropped for 3 straight weeks. Mortgage rates have dropped for 4 straight weeks. Mortgage rates have dropped for 6 straight weeks. There has never been a better time to buy. Well, I think at this point, I forget, I mentioned the stat yesterday. Mortgage rates are up for like the 6th straight week, 6.19%. But are you seeing the media run a million stories about how mortgage rates are up? Of course you're not, because the media is kind of trying to downplay the condition of the housing market and how much rates are slowing down the housing market. We know that we're getting fake job numbers, but nonetheless, it's bad for inflation if that's even relatively true. But that's the last story of the day I have for you guys. These videos have been getting less and less views, even though we continue to get more thumbs up, more comments. You guys seem to be enjoying them. So do me a favor. If you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, drop a comment, give the video a thumbs up. Really kind of help spur the video on in the algorithms. If you're on Reddit or Twitter, something like that, share the video. If you're not subscribed to the channel, a lot of you guys who were subscribed have mentioned that YouTube had unsubscribed you. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. If you guys have news stories you would like me to include in future videos, either drop them in the comments or shoot me an email, RulesForRebels@gmail.com. But that's all I got for you guys today. I will catch you on the next video, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Later, guys.